Law of diminishing marginal utility is an interesting law in economics, and it definitely explains human nature. Utility refers to self-satisfaction that we derive by using certain product. But keep in mind, utility does not mean benefit. It can be beneficial, but sometimes it is not. For example, smoking gives utility to the smoker, but it does not give benefit to him. Similarly, if a consumer consumes or let's say consumes apples, he gets benefit as well as utility. So many products which have utility for consumer may or may not have benefit for him. Now coming to the next term, that is marginal utility. Marginal utility, the term marginal is really important term which is used throughout economics, and marginal utility means the extra utility which we obtain by using one additional unit of a product. So marginal utility is calculated as change in total utility. Delta sign shows change in total utility divided by change in quantity consumed. We will also explain this concept numerically. And the next term is total utility. Total utility is the total satisfaction that we derive by using a certain quantity of good or service. For example, if we consume 2 units or 3 units of a product, then we can add marginal utility of each product to get total utility. For example, if we consume first unit and we get marginal utility from first unit, so we will add it, and by consuming second unit we will get marginal utility from second unit, and if we consume another unit, so we will also add the marginal utility of third unit, and so on. So this will give us the total utility by adding marginal utility of each product. Now coming to law of diminishing marginal utility, this law states that when a consumer consumes a certain product continuously, then every additional unit of that product he consumes gives him lesser level of satisfaction as compared to the previous unit. This statement of law can be further explained with the help of a schedule and diagram. When a consumer consumes first unit of a product, let's see, he gets 10 units of marginal utility from that product, so his total utility will also be 10 units. And if he consumes the second unit of that product, then marginal utility will decrease from 10 to 8 units, but his total utility would be 10 plus 8, that is 18. And on third unit, his marginal utility will further fall, so it will be 6, let's say, and his total utility will be 18 plus 6, and it will give us 24 units of satisfaction. And if the consumer consumes another unit of that similar product, then his marginal utility will further fall, and his total utility will be 24 plus 4, and this will give us 28 units of satisfaction. And on the fifth unit, his marginal utility will further fall, but total utility is still rising. 28 plus 2 will be 30. And on sixth unit consumed, marginal utility is 0. It means the sixth unit is giving no satisfaction to the consumer, and his total utility will remain the same, like 30 plus 0 is equal to 30. And on seventh unit consumed, his marginal utility will be negative, and his total utility will fall because 30 minus 2 will give us 28. So this is how marginal utility and total utility can be compared with this schedule. We can relate this law to our daily routine life. For example, if a person needs some water, and if he drinks first glass of water, he gets more satisfaction, greater level of satisfaction. But on second glass of water, his marginal utility or additional utility will decrease. If he drinks 6 glass of waters, then his marginal utility will be 0. On seventh unit or seventh glass of water, his marginal utility will go into negative area. We can draw a diagram to show this phenomena. We can put these values on diagrams, and we need to draw two diagrams. And one diagram is used to show total utility, and the lower panel shows marginal utility. And as we can see from this table, that when quantity consumed is increasing, marginal utility is continuously falling. So the relationship between quantity and marginal utility is negative. So when we draw the diagram to show the line to show marginal utility, it would be negatively sloped. Because of negative relationship between quantity and marginal utility curve would be negatively sloped. We can see that when consumer consumes 6 units of product, his marginal utility is 0. So this is the point where marginal utility is 0. So this will be the sixth point. And we can again see that when marginal utility is 0, total utility is maximum. So we can draw a perpendicular, and we can show that at this point, marginal utility, when marginal utility is 0, total utility will be maximized. Before that, total utility is rising, and after that, total utility is falling. And this can be verified from the schedule that when before marginal utility becomes 0, total utility is continuously increasing and with the increase in quantity. So at 6th unit, total utility is maximized, and afterwards, if we use another unit, marginal utility will move to the negative area and total utility will start falling. And in this area, total utility was rising while marginal utility was positive. And when marginal utility is 0 at 6th unit, total utility is maximized, and afterwards when marginal utility is negative, total utility is falling. So this is the law of diminishing marginal utility. Like every other economic law, this law is also based on some assumptions, and if these assumptions are met, then this law will be applicable. If these assumptions are not met, then law will not be applicable. The first assumption is rational consumer. In the cardinal utility analysis, it is assumed that the consumer is rational and he aims at maximizing the utility. If he is not rational and he does not take decision based on the utility, then he might be considered as irrational. And in reality, in many cases, we can see that consumers purchase goods based on their traditions, or they are attracted by advertisement and they purchase the good. However, they might not need it. If it happens, then consumer is considered to be irrational, and if he takes decisions irrationally, then this law is not applicable. It is interesting to know that if consumer were rational, then there would have been no need for advertisement. However, advertisement makes consumers irrational, and they purchase many goods and services which are not needed. The second assumption is continuous use. If consumer uses the product continuously, then this law will be applicable. If there is interval between the consumption of the product, then this law may not hold true. And for example, if you take 1 glass of water in the morning, second in the evening, and then this law will not be applicable for you, because at both times you might be having the similar kind of utility. It is also assumed that the commodity consumed is taken in suitable and reasonable quantity. If the units are too small, then marginal utility, instead of falling, may increase up to a few units. Consumer's state of mind must remain the same. If he consumed the first unit with certain intention, then he must use the second unit with the same intention, otherwise the law might not hold true. Now, coming to the exceptions or limitations of law, these are the situations in which this law is totally inapplicable, and these include: number one is knowledge. When a person gets more knowledge, he feels more satisfied. Therefore, in this situation, law is not applicable. Similarly, this law is not applicable in case of wealth and money, because accumulation of more wealth increases the level of satisfaction of an individual. Some people have the hobby to collect historical and antique products, and they feel more comfortable with every additional unit of a product that is collected by them. Another limitation of the law is fashion. Fashion also makes this law inapplicable because a person feels more satisfied if he uses products according to the fashion, and he purchases like branded clothes, shoes, watches as per his fashion, and he feels more comfortable purchasing and using more quantity of a certain product as per his fashion. And the last thing is narcotics or addictions. And the person who has addiction of narcotics feels more satisfied, or he gets more utility by consuming more units of such goods. So the marginal utility of these goods increases with extra unit consumed. For example, wine, heroin, cigarettes, and other drugs. The more the person uses such goods, the more urge he has for them. So far, we discussed law of diminishing marginal utility, and now we are going to discuss law of equi-marginal utility. This is the second law of utility, and we also call this law as utility maximization rule. This is known as utility maximization rule because it guides the consumer to maximize his utility with his given income and prices. In previous law, or in the first law of marginal utility, we considered only one product, and this law takes into account multiple products. And the other unique thing about this law is that this law also assumes that the income of consumer is given and the prices of goods are also given. In previous law, this assumption was not taken into consideration. Okay, how consumer can maximize his utility, this law guides him. This law states that to maximize total utility, consumer must spend his income on two products in a way that last dollar spent on each product gives equal marginal utility. So we can further explain it with the help of a schedule. For example, consumer has $5 income and he can spend his total income on product A, and he can also spend his total income on product B. As per this schedule, we can see how much total satisfaction he can obtain from product A and product B if their prices are given. For example, total income is $5, $1, $2, and $3, $4, and $5 income. If consumer consumes first dollar on product A given its price, the marginal utility of A per price is, let's say, 10 units. Marginal utility of spending second dollar on product A per price would be 8 units, and on third it would be 6, and then 4, and then 2. In this way we can find out total utility that consumer obtains from product A by spending all of his income, that is $5. We can add marginal utilities per price, 10 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2. It will give us total 30 units. Now, if we assume that instead of purchasing product A, if consumer spends all of his income on product B, then marginal utilities of B per price would be, on first dollar he suppose gets 8 units of satisfaction, on second he gets 6 units, and on fourth he gets 4 unit, and then 2 unit, and then 0. So total utility from product B is 20 units. This table clearly shows that if consumer consumes all of his income on product A, he can get maximum 30 units of satisfaction, and if he spends all of his income on product B, then he can get maximum 20 units of satisfaction. However, utility maximization rule guides him to spend his money income on two products in a way that maximizes his utility. So what is the combination which maximizes utility of consumer? For example, as per the definition of law, if he consumes $3 on product A, then last dollar, the third dollar spent on product A gives him 6 units of satisfaction. Now he has $2 left with him, and if he spends $2 on product B, then the second dollar he spends on product B also gives him satisfaction of 6 units. So this is the way he can maximize his utility. Now we can try to prove whether his utility is maximized using this combination or not. If he spends $3 on product A, then total utility from product A for $3 would be 10 plus 8 plus 6, and this is equal to 24. And if he spends $2 on product B, then total utility from product B would be 8 plus 6, that is equal to 14. And his total satisfaction from product A and B is 38 units. So 38 is definitely greater than this individual utility of product B, that is 20 units, and individual utility of A as well, which is 30 units. And there is no other way to maximize utility or to get utility more than 38 units. Suppose if consumer spends $4 on product A just to verify whether there is any other combination or not to get satisfaction more than 38. If consumer consumes $4 on product A, then total utility from product A from 4 units would be 10 plus 8, 10 plus 8 plus 6, plus 4. Total utility from product A would be 28, and now he has only $1 to spend on product B, so his total utility from product B by spending only $1 is 8 units. So if we add 8 and 24, then his total utility is 36. So again, it is less than 38 units. So from this table, we prove that there is no other way to get satisfaction more than 38 units. The only combination which maximizes his utility is by spending $3 on A and $2 on product B. The formula for utility maximization rule is marginal utility of A divided by price of A must be equal to marginal utility of B divided by price of B divided by price of B. And another formula for utility maximization rule is marginal utility of product A divided by price of product A must be equal to marginal utility of money. If marginal utility of money is given, then we can maximize our utility by equating marginal utility of product A. Product A can be any product, let's say it's apple, and divided by price of apples must be equal to the marginal utility of money. And we also assume that marginal utility of money is kept constant and it does not change.
Assalamu alaikum. The topic for today is budget line, indifference curve and consumer equilibrium. Budget line is a graph which shows different combinations of two products that can be produced with the help of given resources. ये concept आपके AS में जो आप लोगों ने production possibility curve पढ़ा था उससे काफ़ी इसका connection है. Production possibility curve में ये होता था कि हम ये देखते हैं कि production possibility curve shows different combinations of two products that can be produced with the help of given resources by the producer. Budget line shows different combinations of two products, one on x and other on y axis, to show how much quantities of two goods can be purchased by the consumer with given income or resources. So let's have a look on different situations of budget line graphically. We plot x good on x axis. X good mean any kind of good, it can be light bulb, or on y axis we show another good named as y good, and it can be another good like it can be fan, or we draw a budget line and this budget line shows how much maximum quantities of x and y can be purchased by the consumer. At combination A, for example, we can see that consumer can purchase B1 quantity of y good and A1 quantity of x good, and at combination B, consumer can purchase B2 quantity of y good and A2 quantity of x good. So to get more units of x good, consumer has to reduce some units of y good. It is basic assumption. It is basic assumption that we have limited budget. Whenever we want to purchase more quantities of one good, we have to reduce some quantities of another good. It is a natural phenomena. We cannot purchase greater quantities of both good with our fixed income. For example, if you have 100 rupees and you have to purchase banana or apple, if you purchase banana for 100 rupees, then it means you cannot purchase apples. If you purchase apples worth 100 rupees, then it means you cannot purchase banana. However, you have multiple options to purchase some quantities of banana and some quantities of apples. If you want to purchase more quantities of banana, then you will have to sacrifice some apples. This is a natural thing. Now let's have a look on effects or shifts in budget line. And budget line shifts because of three effects. The first effect is called income. Now we will have a look on income effect, and if we suppose that there is rise in income of consumer, then what will happen to the budget line? Let's have a look on the graph. And initially we have axis. On x-axis we can show x good, and on y we can show y good. Draw a budget line, initial budget line, and we can label this budget line as AB. And if there is rise in income increases purchasing power of consumer, so consumer would be able to purchase greater quantities, so budget line will shift from AB to A1 B1 to the right. And the second situation is fall in income. If there is fall in income, then consumers purchasing power will decrease. Consumer would be able to purchase lesser quantities of x and y good. Again, label axis and draw a budget line, initial budget line, which can be labeled as AB. And now if there is fall in income, then purchasing power will fall and budget line will completely shift to the left from AB to A1 B1. Okay, so we have seen that rise in income shifts budget line completely to the right, which shows that now consumers purchasing power has increased, and fall in income shifts budget line completely to the left, showing that there is fall in purchasing power of consumer. Keep in mind one important thing, that budget line shows only purchasing power of consumer. The second situation which shifts budget line is price effect, and we suppose that there is fall in price of x. Px stand for price of x. Label now if there is fall in price of x, it means purchasing power of consumer has increased to purchase greater quantities of x good and only, so the purchasing power for y is remaining the same. So budget line will pivotal shift to the right on x-axis. Now the second situation is rise in price of x. If there is rise in price of x, it means purchasing power of consumer to purchase x good will fall, and so budget line will shift from A to A2. The blue line shows basically the new budget line, which is after the rise in price of x. Now let's see the substitution effect and changes in consumer equilibrium. In substitution effect, if we suppose that there is fall in price of x, then consumer considers that his purchasing power for x has increased relative to purchasing power of y good. So let's see how it will change the budget line.
let's see, initial budget line is AB, and if there is fall in price of X, consumer thinks that his purchasing power for X is increased relative to Y. So budget line will shift like this. So quantity of X that consumer can purchase is A1, and quantity of Y that consumer can purchase is B1. So his purchasing power for X has increased while the purchasing power for Y has decreased. Okay, next is the indifference curve and its properties. Indifference curve is a graph which shows different combinations of two products that can be purchased with the given income or budget, and all combinations give equal level of satisfaction to the consumer. In left hand side, top left hand side graph is the indifference curve, which shows that if consumer purchases at combination A or at combination B, he gets the same level of satisfaction, that is 100 units. So indifference curve, the word indifference means when it makes no difference for the consumer whether to purchase X or Y, he gets exactly same level of satisfaction. So combination A or combination B both will give 100 units of satisfaction to the consumer. Next is properties of indifference curve. The first property is that it is always convex to the origin. Convex to the origin IC curve means that every combination will give the same level of satisfaction. You can relate this concept with unitary demand curve, which you discussed in AS level, and unit elastic demand curve shows that whatever price is, consumer has to pay the same expenditure, and the producer gets the same revenue. So there is no change in revenue of consumer, and there is no change in expenditure of the consumer. So same concept is applicable here, that every point at IC curve gives the same level of satisfaction. The second property is that multiple ICs in single map can be there, but higher IC gives high level of satisfaction and lower IC gives lower level of satisfaction. As per figure 2, IC gives 100 units of satisfaction at each combination at each level, and IC1 gives 150 units of satisfaction, and IC2 gives 200 units of satisfaction to the consumer. But keep in mind that every point at IC2 will give equal level of satisfaction, that is 200 units, and every combination at IC shows 100 units of satisfaction whether consumer purchases greater quantity of Y or lesser quantity of Y. So it gives him equal level of satisfaction. The third property of indifference curve is that two ICs will never intersect each other in a single map. What does this mean? If two IC curves intersect each other, then the second property will become invalid. For example, if we have IC curve IC1 and IC2, if they intersect each other, then the previous property number 2 will become wrong, because at combination AB, IC1 gives more satisfaction and IC2 gives less satisfaction. At point C, both give same level of satisfaction, and at point D, IC2 gives more level of satisfaction and IC1 gives less satisfaction, and it negates the previous property that higher IC gives higher satisfaction and lower IC gives lower level of satisfaction. The fourth property is it can never be horizontal, vertical or positively sloped straight line. Why it cannot be horizontal straight line? Let's have a look on this graph. We plot X and Y, and IC curve, if it is horizontal, then it will look like this. So this IC curve shows that if consumer purchases Y1 quantity of Y good, then he can purchase X1 quantity of X good, or either he can purchase X2 quantity of X good, which is against the basic property that whenever consumer purchases more quantity of one good, he has to reduce some quantity of Y good. But in this situation, he is getting the same quantity of Y good, but he can increase quantity of X. Similarly, if it is vertical straight line, then again it is against the basic property, because this shows that we can purchase X2 quantity of X good even if we purchase y2 quantity, y1 quantity, or y3 quantity of y good. But again, it is against the basic property that whenever we purchase more quantities of one good, we have to sacrifice some units of another good. But in this situation, we are getting more units of y, but we are not sacrificing x good. Next is consumer equilibrium. So we will now combine the concept of budget line and IC curve in a single graph to show consumer equilibrium. Consumer equilibrium is a point where budget line is tangent to indifference curve, and we can draw budget line AB and then IC curve. So budget line is tangent to IC curve at point E, where consumer purchases y1 quantity of y good and x1 quantity of x good. So x and y are two goods. They can be any two goods, like one can be banana and other can be apple, or one can be light bulb and the other can be let's say fans and AC and television, any two products. So x y means any two products. So E is the only point at which equilibrium takes place, because at point A or at point B equilibrium cannot take place, because our budget line AB does not meet that point. It means point A is not consumer is not able to purchase at point A, because IC curve at point A is beyond the budget constraint of consumer. Same is the case with combination B. Combination B is much beyond the budget of the consumer, so he cannot purchase this much. So the only combination he can purchase is E, so it will give him maximum satisfaction. Consumer equilibrium is not always stagnant and constant. It keeps changing with the changes in three main elements, and those are: number one is income effect, number two is price effect, and number three is substitution effect. So these three effects basically change the consumer equilibrium. How these three effects change consumer equilibrium, we can see it in detail. The first situation is income effect. So we suppose that there is rise in income. This is the condition we are applying to this certain situation, but examiner may keep changing these situations. So there is rise in income, and we consider that the product is a normal good or the product is an inferior good. Okay, normal goods, as we have already seen that in AS level, that there is positive relationship between income and quantity demand for normal goods. What does this mean? This means that income and demand for normal goods move in same direction. What is this relationship? Like if income increases, consumer will demand more, and vice versa. Inferior goods are negatively related to the level of income, which means that if income increases, consumer will purchase less quantity, and if income falls, consumer will purchase more quantity. So income and demand are negatively related. Now let's see how these effects can be shown with the help of budget line and indifference curve by changing consumer equilibrium. So in this figure, on x-axis we are considering normal good, or in the second graph, right hand side graph, x good is considered as inferior good. So if there is rise in income, how consumer equilibrium will change, we can see it clearly. Like in left hand side graph, first of all draw a budget line and label this budget line as AB. AB is just a notation, you can write it AA or BB or anything, and repeat the same process in right hand side graph. Draw budget line AB, and now draw an equilibrium point at point E, where budget line is tangent to IC curve and consumer purchases x1 quantity of normal good, and repeat the same process in right hand side graph. Draw an indifference curve, and budget line is tangent to IC curve at point E, where consumer purchases x1 quantity of inferior good. Now what will happen if there is rise in income of consumer? Rise in income shows increase in purchasing power of consumer, so budget line will shift from A1 to B1 in left hand side graph as well as in right hand side graph, because whenever there is rise in income, it increases purchasing power irrespective of type of goods. It shows how much maximum quantities you can purchase. So we will consider this point that rise in income will completely shift budget line to the right. However, in left hand side graph, new equilibrium will take place at E1, where consumer purchases X2 quantity of normal good, which is greater than the previous quantity, but so the gap between X1 and X2 is income effect. But in right hand side graph, in case of inferior good, when income increases, budget line will no doubt shift to the right from AB to A1 B1, but consumer will purchase lesser quantity of inferior good at X2 and new equilibrium will take place at E1. Next is price effect, and price again affects the consumer's purchasing power. Fall in price increases purchasing power of consumer, and rise in price decreases purchasing power of consumer. So we will see both situations, fall in price of X and then rise in price of X, and we will show them graphically to make the concept really very clear. Okay, now the first situation first, and draw axis, label two goods, quantities of any two goods. One is, let's say, X good and the other one is Y good, and X good is considered as normal good. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the graph, and draw a budget line, label this budget line as AB, and this is not again necessary to label budget line as AB. You can label it any two goods on X and Y goods. Then in right hand side graph, we have again normal good on X and neutral good on Y axis. Again draw a budget line AB. So in both situations the basic graph is exactly same. We draw the same graph, and in case of normal good, when price falls, quantity demand will rise, and same is the case when price rises, quantity demand will fall, and it follows the law of demand, basic law of demand, which we discussed in already discussed in AS level. So fall in price of X will shift budget line on X axis only. So the new budget line is BB, and suppose initial equilibrium was at point E and consumer purchases X1 quantity of normal good. Now fall in price of normal good increases its quantity demand, so quantity will increase from X1 to X2 and new equilibrium will take place at E1, which is at new budget line. Now let's have a look on right hand side graph, where price of X, PX stand for rise in price of X. Okay, when price of X increases, budget line will pivotal shift from BA to B1, and initially consumer was purchasing X quantity of normal good. Now he will purchase lesser quantity of normal good, that is X1. So the purchasing power of consumer has decreased, and being normal good he purchases less. The last situation is substitution effect on consumer equilibrium. Again draw the same graph, label two goods, one on X and other on Y axis. Now draw a budget line, same. Now let's have a look on substitution effect, and we have the condition that there is fall in price of X, and in case of substitution effect we basically consider the relative impact of fall in price of one good on not only on the same product but on the other product as well. For example, in this figure we have initial budget line AB showing different combinations of X and Y that can be maximum purchased by the consumer, and initial equilibrium is, let's say, at point E. Now if there is fall in, then consumer thinks that his purchasing power for X has increased relative to Y, so his budget line will shift from AB to A1 B1, which shows that his purchasing power for X has increased but purchasing power for Y has decreased. As a basic principle, we draw a single IC curve which becomes tangent to both budget lines AB and A1 B1. Initial equilibrium was at point A, and we draw IC curve which creates tangency at point E as well as E1 on the new budget line. Now the next is we have to prove that price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect, and we suppose that there is fall in price of X. Draw a basic graph, and that is budget line is AB. Initial equilibrium, let's say, is at point E, and we draw a part of indifference curve, not complete IC curve, and we can see that X1 quantity of X good is purchased by the consumer. Let's say it is 5 units of X. Fall in price of X shifts budget line from BA to BA1, which shows that purchasing power of consumer has increased for X good, and X is considered as a normal good. So new equilibrium will take place at some point which shows greater quantity of X good which is purchased by the consumer, because it is now less costly, so consumer will purchase more quantity. That is, let's say, X2 quantity of normal good, and X2 is any quantity, so it can be, let's say, 15 units. So consumer was initially purchasing 5 units, now he is purchasing 15 units. Another really very important information here is that now we consider that if budget line shifts from BA to BA1, it shows increase in purchasing power of consumer. If we keep purchasing power of consumer constant, then there will be a substitution effect showing complete leftward shift, parallel shift in budget line. Now the budget line was BA, which is red line, and it will shift from BA2 to the left, and that budget line is labeled as, you can label it any using any alphabets, but I am labeling it as CC. So it again shows CC and BA lines show the substitution effect. So for substitution effect, we need not to draw another IC curve, we will extend the same IC curve, and new equilibrium will take place at E2, and we can now complete the initial IC curve which was drawn partially, and now we can complete it as IC. So the new equilibrium will take place at E2, and the new quantity as per substitution effect, if consumer's purchasing power is kept constant, he would be able to purchase X3 quantity of normal good. And this is an imaginary budget line, it is not actual line. If we just consider that if his purchasing power was kept constant, then he could have purchased maximum 8 units or X3 quantity of X good. So the substitution effect in this situation is at E and E2. So 8 minus 5 is plus 3, and income effect is 15 minus 8, so it is plus 7. So the overall effect is positive, and net effect would be positive, and that is equal to plus 10. Okay, the one thing is really very important to keep in mind, that if income and substitution effects both are moving in the same direction, in this situation substitution effect is moving to the right and income effect is also moving to the right, they are moving in same direction, so both will be considered as positive figures. So income and substitution effect both are positive in this situation. Okay, now we have separated the income and substitution effect in this overall situation, and we can now prove that price effect is equal to income effect plus substitution effect. In this scenario, price effect is from X1 to X2, so 15 minus 5 is our price effect. We will put the value 15 minus 5, and income effect is 15 minus 8, and that is plus 7, and substitution effect is 8 minus 5, which is 3, Now 15 minus 5 is equal to 10 and 7 plus 3 is also 10. So prove that price effect is always equal to substitution effect and income effect. Prove that price effect is equal to income effect plus substitution effect. And the next situation is inferior good case, and we will prove the same condition, that price effect is equal to income effect plus substitution effect, or we can say that price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect. Both will give exactly same meaning, and we have the condition that price of X falls. Draw an initial budget line, that is AB, find an equilibrium at point E and draw partially indifference curve, and consumer purchases X1 quantity of inferior good. Now if there is fall in price of X, then there will be a pivotal shift in budget line from BA to BA1, and the new budget line is red line. New budget line is BA1, which shows that consumers' purchasing power for inferior good has increased. Okay, now we will find another equilibrium at new budget line BA1, that is red budget line, and new equilibrium is suppose at point E1, where consumer purchases X2 quantity of inferior good, and let's say X2 quantity of inferior good, let's say this quantity is 7 units. Okay, and we have to draw indifference curve at point E1 to show it as an equilibrium, an official equilibrium. Now we have to draw an imaginary budget line to which considers that if consumers purchasing power is kept constant, what could he has been able to purchase. So the blue line would be the imaginary budget line, which is below the original red line, and this is this shows that consumers purchasing power has increased. Whenever imaginary budget line is below the actual budget line, it shows that consumers purchasing power has increased. So we will complete the initial IC curve, which we partially drawn previously at point A, and now it will be extended to E2. Now new equilibrium is at E2, and where consumer would have purchased if his purchasing power was kept constant, X3 quantity of X good, which is 10. Okay, in this situation substitution effect is from X1 to X3. Again, I will reinforce the same thing, that when two lines are crossing each other, the equilibrium at these two lines would be the substitution effect. So line BA and CC are intersecting each other, so equilibrium E and E2 are the substitution effects. Now we can find the income effect, that is the difference between two parallel lines. So equilibrium quantity on two parallel lines BA and CC are, one equilibrium is at point E1 and the other is at E2. So income effect is between E1 and E2, that is 10 minus 7. And the total effect or net effect would be the gap between 7 and 5, or X2 and X1. Income effect is equal to 7 minus 10 is equal to minus 3. Now in this situation arrows are moving in opposite direction, so substitution effect is moving towards right, so it would be positive, and income effect is moving towards left backward, so income effect would be negative. Income effect is going as equal to minus 3 against the substitution effect. So income effect is equal to 7 minus 10, and it is, and substitution effect is equal to, and substitution effect is equal to 10 minus 5, which is equal to plus 5. So the net effect would be plus 2. Okay, in case of inferior good, you must keep in mind that in case of inferior good, income effect is negative and substitution effect is positive. Now we have to prove that price effect is equal to income effect plus substitution effect. We have the values. Price effect is 7 minus 5 and income effect is minus 3 and substitution effect is 5 plus 5. So 7 minus 5 is equal to plus 2 and minus 3 plus 5 is equal to plus 2. So again prove that price effect is equal to income effect plus substitution effect. Next concept is derivation of demand curve using indifference curve and budget line. And the first condition is basically there is fall in price of X and we have X good which is normal good. So draw two graphs, and graph we show quantity of X good which is normal good on X axis and quantity of another good that is Y good, let's say, on Y axis. And in the lower panel we have price on y-axis and quantity demand of X on x-axis, because in AS you have already studied that demand curve shows the relationship between price and quantity demand. So on X we have quantity demand and on Y we have price. Suppose we have initial price $10 and it falls to $8, then let's see how it will have impact on consumer equilibrium and demand curve. Draw initial budget line BA and draw an initial equilibrium at point E, and IC curve is I. So draw a perpendicular to find out quantity. So initially quantity is Q and we got a point A where perpendicular from equilibrium intersects price $10. And now if there is fall in price of X, then let's see how budget line will change. Fall in price of X will shift budget line from BA to BA1, let's say, or BB1. Okay, and new equilibrium will take place at point E1 because it is normal good and fall in price of normal good increases its quantity. So new equilibrium will take place at E1, and we can again draw perpendicular to find out quantity demand, and quantity demand is Q1, and this perpendicular intersects price line $8 at point B. Now join point A and B to get a demand curve. So this is a normal demand curve which is negatively sloped, and it confirms the scenario which we already discussed in AS level. Now if the X good is a given good, then how it will affect demand curve and what will be the shape of demand curve in this situation. Initially we have budget line AB and we have prices $10 and $8 in lower panel, and initial equilibrium was, let's see, at point E where budget line BA is tangent to IC curve, and find quantity Q. And initially since price was $10, so intersection point of $10 price is labeled here. And now if there is fall in price of X, there will be a pivotal shift in budget line on x-axis, and this yellow line, new yellow line, would be the new budget line, showing that now consumers purchasing power is A1 for given good, and given good is basically the good which is worst quality product and consumer does not purchase it or purchases very less quantity whenever his purchasing power increases. So new equilibrium will take place at E1, which shows that now consumer will purchase lesser quantity of given good which is X good. So new quantity is Q1 and initial point was A and subsequent point is B. If we join these points, we will get a demand curve which is exceptional demand curve and it is positively sloped. Again keep in mind, given good is the good which has exceptional demand curve which looks like supply curve and positively sloped. When its price falls, consumer purchases less quantity because fall in price increases his purchasing power, and consumer will not purchase more quantity of given good or worst quality product when his purchasing power increases. Okay, now we are going to prove that in case of normal good, price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect, and we will also prove that the same condition, price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect in case of inferior goods as well as in case of given goods. So we have initial budget line AA, and we suppose that initial equilibrium is taking place at point E. And now if we suppose that there is fall in price of X, then budget line will shift like this, budget line will shift like this, and we suppose that new equilibrium will take place at E1, where consumer will purchase now greater quantity of X good. Let's say it is 15 units, and at initial equilibrium E, this is the initial equilibrium, let's say it was 5 units. So we can easily find out the price effect, and price effect is equal to 15 minus 5, which is equal to 10, because this shift was basically caused by fall in price of X, and fall in price of X has resulted in price effect with gap shown with gap between 15 and 5. Now we will draw another line which would be parallel to the budget line AB. Let's say this is point B, and to show substitution effect, this line, we will draw this line, and this budget line also shows that consumers purchasing power is kept constant, and new equilibrium must be on the new budget line, that is CC, so it can be somewhere at point E2, let's say. And now we can draw IC curve to basically show this equilibrium point, where budget line AB is tangent to the IC curve at E1, and we have to draw a single IC curve which which will make basically tangency with both budget lines AA and CC. So this is IC, this is IC1, let's say, and we know that when lines are pivotal, they show price effect, and we have calculated it. When lines are parallel to each other, they show income effect. And in this graph, we can find out income effect by finding the basically finding two parallel lines. One line is basically AB, and other line is CC. These two lines are parallel to each other, and we can see that on line AB, equilibrium is taking place at E1, where quantity is basically 15. Quantity is 15, and on budget line CC, equilibrium is taking place at point E2, and we suppose that quantity is, let's say, 7 units here. Okay, now we have to find out income effect, and income effect is shown with two parallel lines. We have one combination at E1, and the other combination is at E2, and quantity at E2 is 7. So 15 minus 7 is equal to, so 15 minus 7 is 8. 15 minus 7 is 8, and now we will have to find out substitution effect. For substitution effect, we know that lines cross each other, and two lines which are crossing each other in this graph are AA and CC. These are crossing each other, and equilibrium at budget line AA is at point E, where quantity is 5, and on budget line CC, equilibrium is at E2, where quantity is 7. So 7 minus 5 will give us basically substitution effect. And now if we put these values into the equation, that is price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect, then price effect is 10 and substitution effect is 2 and income effect is 8. So 10 is equal to 10. So we proved that price effect is collectively equal to substitution effect and income effect. अच्छा, ये केस था नॉर्मल गुड का. यहीं पे मैं थोड़ा सा आपको बता देता हूँ कि अगर यही इंफीरियर गुड का केस होता, देन ग्राफ आगे मैं बनाता हूँ इसका ग्राफ, लेकिन यहीं पे इसी ग्राफ में अगर हम देखना चाहें तो for in case of basically inferior goods, this equilibrium will just change. All other things will remain the same as we have shown in this graph. Only equilibrium E1 will shift somewhere at this point. ठीक है, देखिए what sequence you should follow whenever there is fall in price of X. There is fall in price of X. We have some initial budget line AA. ठीक है, and first of all you should incorporate price effect. We suppose we initial our equilibrium is at point E. If now there is fall in price of X, then budget line will shift like this. Okay, this is price effect. When budget line is shifting pivotally, it is basically price effect. And whenever there is fall in price of X and we want to show substitution effect, then we basically shift the budget line like this. So now we have to draw another budget line to show substitution effect as well. So we will make these three lines basically ना. This is P and this is CC. ठीक है, एक इक्विलिब्रियम आपका यहाँ बनेगा, एक यहाँ पे बनेगा, E1 and E2 let's say. Now we can move to the next situation that we are taking X good as an inferior good, and we are again trying to prove that price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect. And again we will draw a budget line, initial budget line. This is X good, which is an inferior good, and this is Y good, and it is some neutral good. We are not considering which type of good it is. Okay, so initial budget line we have as AA, and we suppose that initially equilibrium is taking place somewhere at point E. Now first of all, to incorporate the price effect, whenever there is fall in price of X, there will be a pivotal shift in budget line like this. And for showing substitution effect, while we draw substitution effect, we are considering that the purchasing power of consumer is kept constant. Okay, when budget line shifts to the right, it shows that purchasing power of consumer has increased. When budget line shifts from AA to AB, it shows that consumer's purchasing power has increased. If we try to keep purchasing power of consumer constant, then we will have to show substitution effect, and we will have to shift budget line to the left, completely to the left. A new budget line will look like this, which will be parallel to the budget line AB, and it will cross budget line AA, and we suppose that this is budget line CC. For substitution effect, new equilibrium should take place at somewhere at point E1, and for price effect, now price effect should take place somewhere at point E2, and again we will find out combinations. Initially consumer was, let's say, purchasing 2 units of X good, and here he is purchasing 5 units of X good, and let's say it is 8 units of X good. And now we have to draw IC curves as well to show equilibrium, and this is, let's say, IC1, and we need to draw another IC curve which will make equilibrium with both budget lines AA and CC. We will make equilibrium initially at this point, and now we will extend it, and again we will show equilibrium at E1. This is, let's say, IC curve 2. Again we know that when two budget lines are parallel to each other, they show income effect. So in this situation, income effect would be, we know that income effect is shown with two parallel lines, and in this situation we have two parallel lines CC and AB. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3 is basically the price effect. And for substitution effect, two lines cross each other, and two lines which are crossing each other are AA and CC, and at CC equilibrium quantity is 8. Okay, so price effect in this situation is equal to 5 minus 2, which is 3, and substitution effect is 8 minus 2, which is equal to 6, and income effect is equal to 5 minus 8 is equal to minus 3. So now we can see that income effect is negative, substitution effect is positive, and price effect is also positive. Now we will put these values into our condition which we are trying to prove, that is price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect, and price effect is equal to 3, so put value 3, and substitution effect is equal to 6, and income effect is equal to minus 3. So 3 is equal to 6. When we will remove this bracket, then minus sign will make this plus sign negative, so 6 minus 3, so 3 is equal to 3. So we prove that price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect in case of inferior good. Now we can basically flash back to the previous page and we can see what is the difference between that graph and this graph. Okay, in this graph we can see that in case of normal good, equilibrium changes from point E to point E1 somewhere at this point, but in case of inferior good, equilibrium will change from point E to E2 at this point. अगर आप देखें तो आपका नॉर्मल गुड के केस में इक्विलिब्रियम आपका न्यू इक्विलिब्रियम प्राइस इफेक्ट के केस में यहाँ कहीं जाके बन रहा था. So this is the basically difference in two graphs. And now we have to make graph for given goods which are worst quality product, and in that situation this equilibrium E2 will shift somewhere at this point. Okay, and I'm going to make this graph. So again, price of X is falling and X is considered to be the given good, and we have to prove that price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect. Again we will have to draw axis and we have to show X good on X, which is now a given good. Given good is basically the worst quality product, and this is Y good, which is a neutral good, and we don't know what type of good it is. We are not considering it, we are just focusing on X good. And initial budget line is, let's say, AA, and we suppose that initial equilibrium is taking place at point E. And now if there is fallen price of X, budget line will shift like this from AA to BB, because now purchasing power of consumer for X good has increased. And to show substitution effect and to show the constant purchasing power of consumers income, we will have to draw substitution effect like this. This line will be parallel to line AB, and suppose this is again line CC, and substitution effect will take place at somewhere at point E1. So we can find out combinations. Let's say it is quantity, this quantity is let's say it's 5, and this quantity is, let's say, 10. And now equilibrium for given good due to fall in its price will move to point E2, and now new combination will be, quantity is, let's say this is 3, and we have to show equilibrium we have to draw indifference curves. This is IC1, and we have to draw another IC curve which will be tangent to these two budget lines, and this is, let's say, IC. And again we have to find out price effect. In this situation, price effect is equal to the effect on two pivotal lines, and equilibrium on line A is at point E where quantity was 5, and on its pivotal line AB, equilibrium is taking place at E2 where quantity is 3. So we will put 3 minus 5 is equal to minus 2, and again now we will have to find out substitution effect. And substitution effect is basically the two lines which are crossing each other. Substitution effect is shown with two cross lines. So one equilibrium is taking place at E and the other one is taking place at E2 on cross lines. So this much is the substitution effect, and this is equal to 10 minus 5, which is equal to 5. And now we will have to find out income effect, and income effect is shown with two parallel lines, and in this situation two parallel lines are AB and CC. Two parallel lines are two parallel lines are AB and CC. These are two parallel lines, and on these two parallel lines one equilibrium is taking place at quantity 10 and other equilibrium is taking place at quantity 3. So 3 minus 10 is equal to minus 7. So now we will put the value price effect is equal to substitution effect plus income effect, and if we put the value minus 2 in price effect, so this is minus 2, and we will put the value of substitution effect, that is 5, and plus put the value of income effect, that is minus 7. Okay, minus 2 is equal to 5, and when we will remove this bracket, this negative sign will basically multiply with plus sign will make it negative sign. So minus 7 is the final answer for it. So minus 2 is equal to 5 minus 7 will also give us minus 2. So minus 2 is equal to minus 2. So again prove that in case of given goods, price effect is equal to income effect plus substitution effect.